really important to create a visceral connection. It has to be not just cognitive, but in the body. So everybody, just do this gesture for a minute, okay? Just do this gesture, get it up a little closer, and then look loving at it. Tell me what we're doing. Who is this?
Baby.
A baby. So 3 months ago, my first grandson, my first grandbaby was born, Bogey. And, I've been doing the math, and I've been thinking, okay, he's 80 in 2100. And this connection that we're talking about is now. It's present. It's here. It's our children and our grandchildren. And we have to be talking about climate change, and we have to do it in a non-self-righteous way. Because this is about our children, and it's not partisan. It's not liberal. It's not conservatives. As Paul Harkin says, it's the human agenda. And we can't get to advancing human rights and all of the other concerns of the many, many movements out there if we destroy our planet, right? So the first thing is to recognize it's the most pivotal time in history. When people hear the science barrage, they go into apathy, they go into sort of this complicated response between denial and despair. And we all know this one. Denial is, there's nothing really happening in my life. Okay, maybe oceans are rising, but it's later. Despair, and so nothing's happening. Despair is, I can't do anything. So if I go over and I take in the data, then I feel apathy and I go into despair. What I want to tell you is that what you want coming out of these climate arts events is the third way, which is commitment. Because when you make a commitment, you transcend the denial, despair loop. And you go, look, I'm down. So it's like commitment, and then the next thing is hope. Hope is more than a feeling. Hope is a choice. And every person that comes to one of your events who chooses hope and commitment out of your event, you're lifting it up. So it's the personal commitment to be the change you want for the world, and then it's also the commitment to turn that into a movement that results in cultural and political action. Paul Hawkins says, I love this, he says, if we only think that global warming is happening to us, and that, the emissions happened, and here we are now, and we're stuck, then we tend to see ourselves as victims. But if we can see, this is his quote, that global warming is happening for us, it shifts the entire frame. It's happening for us in the sense that it's compelling us to come together. Because weapons of mass destruction and climate change have to do with the survival of the human species. Otherwise, we're headed towards extinction. And we have a choice between creating a new renaissance of the human spirit, what I call the Great Turning, or drifting into oblivion. But the thing is, it's a choice, and it's for us because it's a joyful thing. To reimagine our world, to really embrace the transformation that has to happen for us to deal with climate change, is also for us to have to solve these other problems that we're in, including racism, tribalism, women's rights, health and well-being. They're all connected. All those movements are part of one larger meta-movement. And so it's a joyful thing if you can go, yes, this is the time where we have to rise. This is the time where our children have to rise. This is the time of the Great Turning, or what do you want to call it, where we're lifted up into the space where we have to come together, and we're evolving from a tribal consciousness to an ethnocentric, kind of my race, my religion, to a biospheric or earth-based consciousness. Why? Because we have to. It's for us. We have to make that jump. And as you know from the studies on tipping points, it's 5 to 10% of the population. It takes 10% of the population to be living it. Not self-righteously, but being the change where it becomes exponential. So I think it's a message of hope, science, and compassion. It's a message of it's happening not just to us, but for us. because we have to come together, and it always seems impossible. It seemed impossible that the Berlin Wall would ever come down. It seemed impossible there would be an uprising in South Africa and it would become a democratic government. Albeit a flawed one still, but a democratic government rather than a race war. It seems impossible until it's done.
The word hope. I have a real problem with hope. Hope. Let's prepare for the next generation. Those are empty words. They really are. And the reason is because they don't give people any kind of orientation towards opportunity. These are what you need to be telling to people. And the thing is that green infrastructure, that green technology is arguably the largest economic opportunity ever to hit humankind. And there's hundreds and hundreds of different solution technologies and thousands more that haven't been innovated yet. And these are what the young folks out there in these fields could be thinking about. These are their opportunities where they could plug in and actually make climate change and doing something that they could be involved with personally, and through that find hope.